What is going on, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. I'm Dean 78904 if you want to get all technical, or if you're Tim, you're just going to call me Mean Dean. It rhymes, so it must be true. 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Interesting slate. Several players making a return. We think possibly Austin Reeves, not officially in for the Lakers, likely to come back tonight. He's officially questionable first game of the night, so we will know that. And then Joker out of nowhere. They've been teasing it. They've been talking about him coming back soon. The Joker is back for Denver this evening, taking on the Clippers. We have a full-on tankathon, Brooklyn and Utah. Nurkic is ill, man. I really hope he starts feeling better. Somebody bring that man some chicken noodle soup. Myself, Tim Buell, Tasteful Tides. Happy Friday. How are things?
Happy Friday, Dino. Yeah, definitely doing pretty good. You know, we only got one hockey game tonight, so we're just playing a little showdown in the NHL streets. But we got 9 games on both FanDuel and DraftKings, so it's definitely a good night for NBA. So definitely going to be just playing a little hoops here, playing a little hoops on both FanDuel and DraftKings, and I'm excited to break it down with you.
Hockey night in Canada must be loaded tomorrow night, I assume. That's probably a big boy slate. Is it? Are you on projections for hockey? It's probably a fun night to be on projections. Super easy, I imagine.
I am on projections tonight. Yeah, I was also on projections yesterday for a 15 gamer. So they don't really do a good job of balancing out the schedule in the NHL.
Yeah. There's another outdoor game coming. I'm sure you're aware in Tampa. Do you know about this?
Yep.
A couple days, I think.
Yep.
First.
Yep.
Yeah, Florida got both games this year. The Panthers earlier in the year, and then of course Tampa. I don't recall who it's going to be. I guess it's going to be pretty chilly. But something to look forward to there in the hockey streets.
I think it's Boston.
Is it Boston? Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah. That would make sense. That checks out. Interesting slate tonight in the association, Tim, because it's kind of cut in half, right? We have 5 games early. We have 4 games late. The 5-game window, 1 at 7 o'clock, 4 games, 7:30. And then we go dark for an hour and a half. We pause, basically. So 7:30 games are locked. Then give an hour and a half. 9 o'clock, we ramp them back up. We have 4 more. General rules is just like if you have a tiebreaker, who knows if news is going to drop. We'll see. Stay tuned. It's the association. We have 2 teams that really, really want to lose, Brooklyn and Utah. If you look at the tankathon, there are 5 teams. 5 teams. It's a race to the bottom. 5 teams with 12 wins right now in the tankathon. Sacramento, New Orleans, Indiana, Brooklyn, and Washington. Utah's kind of like a no man's land. They're the next team with 15 wins, and then Milwaukee's got 18. But Milwaukee's closing strong because, who knows when they're going to win their next game. They just got shellacked by Washington. No Giannis for the foreseeable future, if maybe ever. Who knows? So they're going to be tough to compete with in the back half of the season, post All-Star break, presumably. But yeah, we have that game with Utah. Does have 10. I think Brooklyn actually does have 12 if they want to play 12. They want to get squirrely. We have that return, the presumptive return of Joker tonight for Denver. We are giving him 28 minutes, I think is what it was that last all. So not full minutes, but not minimal minutes. It's only enough to ruin everybody else, I think. We'll have that conversation. General thoughts as far as this slate, Tim. I guess driving it is the lack of Jaylen Brown, the matchup against Sacramento. Both Pritchard and Derek White project just excellent, just phenomenal plays. We're waiting on Luka. He's currently questionable, as is Austin Reeves. We'll know that if Crunch Time doesn't know that because that's a 7 o'clock game, the only 7 o'clock game. Do you have any general thoughts as far as the slate this evening before we dive into the old game by game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have the Austin Reeves news. We'll have the Luka news. I'm really thankful that we have most of the Utah news. We still are waiting on Cody Williams, which does matter, but it's not as gigantic as some of this other stuff. So I think the biggest one in terms of that, really in terms of that late window is actually that Cody Williams news, which I don't think it's meaningful, but we already have most of that Utah stuff. But most of the big news stuff I think is really in this early window, which kind of makes this slate, I think, a little bit easier to play. It's just more of a playable slate. Like if we had a bunch of Utah stuff that we had to decipher, this would be a much more complicated slate.
Yeah, Utah has already ruled out, Nurkic. They ruled out Markkanen, and they could potentially be down to 9. Right now, the best play on Utah looks pretty clear to be Kyle Filipowski, who's a good fantasy player and also a terrible actual defensive player. I'm just a little bit concerned with Brooklyn and like how they deal with their minutes because, again, Brooklyn certainly is motivated to lose this game. Front half, back half stuff. This is the back half of a back-to-back for Brooklyn, as it is for Denver, Detroit, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Washington. Front half for two teams that are actually playing against each other, the Pels and the Grizz, both teams in the front half of back-to-back. That's one of my favorite games of the slate. We'll talk about that shortly. It's also, Tim, I know you're excited about this. It's also a Film Friday. It's a Film Friday. We want to give away a week free of RG Premium. How do you get yourself a week free of RG Premium? Well, you get in the Discord channel and you tell me what film I'm talking about. Clues are going to be scrolling on the bottom of the screen, and I'll vocalize them as well. First clue is delicious. Delicious is the first clue for Film Friday. Let me know what film I'm talking about in the Discord channel. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You get all the hockey stuff. MMA, PGA, all the goods, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, the projections, the articles, the rankings, everything is going to be free. I say everything because NASCAR is not a thing just yet. When NASCAR is a thing, NASCAR is a la carte. All right. Anything else we got before we dive into the slate?
Let's dive.
It is the first game. We kind of mentioned it. It's an awesome environment. Certainly Lakers, Wizards, 228.5 is the total. Lakers are 8-point dogs currently. And again, we don't know about Luka. I think at the most recent injury reports as of 5 o'clock. We'll get a new one in a few more minutes. Probably get an update at 5:30. That's probably going to be game time. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Austin Reeves seems like there's a decent chance he comes back tonight. He's questionable. Luka's questionable as far as the Wizards. They did rest Chris Middleton on the back half of a back-to-back. Trae Young, who knows if or when we'll ever see him play this season. No Vukcevic still, no Bagley still. Trey Johnson got hurt last night. So that was a bummer. And then we saw Carrington draw the start there in the second half. We're presuming, depending on how well you know him, Carlton or Bub is presumably going to jump there in the starting lineup for Washington. We're also giving Champagnie because two spots are open, right? The absence of Middleton as well. We think it's Champagnie. That's where we're currently projecting it, but I wouldn't necessarily assume that. But yeah, we have Carrington, George, Koulibaly, Champagnie, and Sarr. How are we seeing the Wizards and the Lakers? Only 7 o'clock game.
Yeah, like I said, we'll get the Luka news. We'll get the Austin Reeves news. If Luka were to miss, you're firing up LeBron James here at 8,900. He would become, I think, a really solid like core play. Somebody that I will gladly play him in this early window. I'll lock up that spot. I think that's a really easy play in all formats. So he's power forward only, but that's okay. This game is already really quite amazing. You talked about Bob Carrington. He's currently showing up in our first optimal. We have him projected for 36 minutes just because I think he's going to have to play, right? So Bob Carrington, I think, is already a really strong value. Another roster spot that I will most likely just be taking up here early on. Like I hate to kind of take up spots early here, but if Luka were to miss, I'd be taking up a spot with LeBron. And I'd be taking up a spot with Bob Carrington. I think you might be taking up a spot with Jake LaRavia if Reeves and Luka were to miss. So this game could end up flooding optimals, I think, depending on the news. But regardless of the Luka news, I think Bob Carrington is fantastic. And I do want to bring up one player that's currently only going to be, I think, around 5 or 6% owned is Alexander Sarr at 7,900. He just continues to put up monster games. I played him yesterday at really low ownership. He was pretty solid. Like he put up, I think, around 48 fantasy points. So I think he's a really strong GPP play.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of run as well of late, Sarr, with the absence of bigs behind him. He seems to be developing into a pretty good fantasy player. Certainly raw, plenty. Taking on DeAndre Ayton, who's God, he's been exposed, and they're starting to hate him there in LA. His minutes are getting shaky of late. I don't mind him. It's just, the price has just really jumped up, but he certainly has justified it. I had a little piece of him last night as well, and certainly that worked out. You mentioned LaRavia. I don't see him on the injury report. You said LaRavia is questionable.
I was saying we'd be firing him up if we lost Reeves and Luka. He would be a strong. I'm sorry if I was confusing there. I think you should be firing him up as a value play if we were to lose Luka and Austin Reeves. I was just saying that there are a couple spots here that I'm going to be using here early if we lose those two big pieces.
So Ruthless Villain in chat's telling us it's Slovenian Heritage Night in Washington, so it really doubts Luka sits. And I don't know if you saw.
We've discussed this in years past. Actually, this exact thing.
I think he's had big games on Slovenian Heritage Night.
Yeah, there might be something real to that.
Who's the guy? Remember Polish Heritage Night, Marcin Gortat and Polish Heritage Night? If you remember that,
that's it. Nice,
that was a thing.
Done, Dean. That was a thing. I can't believe you could remember that.
It was a pull. I got the image in my head, and Marcin Gortat was one of my favorite players to watch like 10 years ago.
You can't remember who you were on GrindersLive with yesterday, but somehow you can remember that. Like that's crazy.
Was it Crazy Gaby? Who was it yesterday? It was not Crazy Gaby. No, it was Chop. I was on with Chop yesterday. Also, shout out to our chat. J3 says he binked a low dollar NHL single entry contest. So shout out to J3, our guy, who dedicated to me, although I had nothing to do with that. I would say dedicated to Tim and to Dane and the NHL projection team, who I assume helped. But, of course, you built the team. So dedicate to yourself. Take your victory.
Nice work, J3.
Shout out to you, J3. Our projection for LeBron, if we lose Luka, is 52 DK, 51 FanDuel as a median projection. So that's really, really strong. We love the matchup here in Washington. It's just if all of Luka, LeBron, and Reeves play, like it hurts the ceiling just a little bit. I'm not saying you can't play, LeBron. You can't play Reeves. I say you can't play Reeves. He's going to play 24 minutes according to our projections, and I think that's right. I don't think they push him hard. I don't think this is a Cooper Flag situation, which, man, Cooper Flag, 39 minutes or so. Just general rule, like never believe Jason Kidd when it comes to minute stuff. Like I think it was 39 minutes. He dropped 40 points or 50 points. It was a monster number against Knipple and Charlotte yesterday. I just crossed them out. Like, they're probably going to baby him a little bit. They did not.
What about a little bit of a Kaishan George instead of Bob? I think Bob might get a little bit steamed.
I think Bob's going to be popular.
And Kaishan is kind of a little bit of leverage off of a team that we'll talk about next, or in a little bit, a little leverage off of Derek White, a little leverage off. Yeah. I think Kaishan George. I mean, this Lakers defensive rating is absolutely atrocious. Like they're 25th overall in defensive rating. Like they're a pretty horrible defensive team. I wonder, we're currently showing Kaishan with around 13% projected own. Like he's not going to be popular. I think Bob might be the steam candidate here. I think Kaishan is super interesting for GPPs, especially if you're going to be getting to some Lakers on the other side.
By the way, our chat apparently is saying that, I don't know if this is true or not. Let's assume our chat is on top of it. It's Serbian Heritage Night in Denver. Is that why Joker is coming back tonight? I believe like 99%. He's Serbian, right? Fairly certain he's Serbian. So, okay. We already kind of assume he's coming back. By the way, you mentioned the defense with the Lakers. If Austin Reeves comes back, it's going to get worse. He's not a good defender. Right. It's not, and once upon a time, Marcus Smart was this really good defender, and he's just not that guy anymore. LaRavia's, dominating. He ain't dominating on defense. DeAndre Ayton. So I agree. The Lakers' defense is quite poor. It's just the prices. Like I like George in theory. I like Sarr in theory. I just don't know if I'm going to get there. It's also the first game. I don't like not playing Luka, just as like a general rule, especially against Washington. But if all three of these guys are in, Luka, we're assuming LeBron, no reason not to, and Reeves, the ceiling is capped just a little bit. But did you see what happened to Luka? I don't know if you saw the injury, but like this stupid court in Cleveland, it's like raised, it's elevated. So like he fell off the court. Not fell off, but that's how he turned his ankle. And they're determined to like hurt people in Cleveland. I don't. It's whoever designed the building, they screwed it up. Whoever decided on the floor, it's a mess up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not actually know what you're talking about. I did not see this. Yeah. I do think that if Luka plays, this becomes a much more complicated situation. Like if Luka and Austin Reed both play, Luka's he's 11-9. Yes, it is a fantastic matchup. Yes, it's a great matchup for raw points. But I think that the decision becomes much harder about what to do here. So it's kind of depends on what you want to do with some of this later value. But I think that's the most complicated scenario is if Luka plays, because you're locking up a ton of salary early on. But I really like this game. I think this. I would rather build into this game. That's what I was trying to say at the top of the show. I'd rather build into this game than kind of wait around, which is unusual. Usually I'm the other way around. Usually I like to wait for news, but like I said, we already kind of have the Utah stuff. We already have the Jokic, he's already coming back. Like we already have a ton of stuff, information on the slate. So I'd rather build into this game.
Yeah, Dean in chat says, why avoid the first game though, Dean? Just so hoping someone not on the injury report. Did I say I'm avoiding this game? I didn't. If I said that, I didn't mean to say that. That was not my implication. I'm like you. I'm not really sure what to do. I only make so many lineups. If I was making 20 or 50 or whatever, of course, Luka would be in my pool if he's good to go. I just don't know if I'm going to get there on my main lineup. You only make one or two typically, right? You only make a couple lineups, and you're probably bouncing back and forth on Luka depending on how the chips fall. But have you locked him in or locked him out yet? Probably not, I assume.
I haven't made a decision on him just because we're going to have the info on him. You know what I mean? Like that decision is going to be kind of made for us. If he's in, I'm probably not going to play him, but it's going to be a terrifying fade. Like I'm not 100% sure. I'm leaning no right now, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
Oh, I'm going to be tilted the rest of the show. You know why, Tim? Why am I going to be tilted?
Somebody binked it.
Somebody
binked it?
Yeah, of course.
Why do you make these clues so easy, Dean?
I make it too easy. I got to get Goldilocks. I got to make them just right. Either too hard, too easy. Unbelievable. We got a winner and one. I'm very upset. I'm going to be angry the rest of the show. We will continue to drop the clues, but we did shout out to D Pike with the winner in Discord. We'll drop the second clue here for fun. It is formula, delicious, and formula is the second clue. But again, already a winner for Film Friday. You got anything else as far as Lakers and Wizards?
Nope.
Raptors Magic 218.5 is the total. The Raptors are 2-point dogs here as far as who's in and who's out. And again, this is the start of 4 games. There's 4 games at 7:30. Then we take a break. Toronto at Orlando. Toronto is fully healthy with the exception of Jakob Poeltl. We have not seen Jakob Poeltl for a while, so nothing new here. Orlando still without Franz Wagner. He screwed up his leg when he played in Germany. Otherwise, they are 100%. They're clean. They're good to go. How you seeing the Raptors and the Magic? I don't really like this game a heck of a lot. I changed my mind.
I mean, if there was a game that I would just X right out of this slate, it'd probably be this one. There's not a single player. There's not a single player with even like a neutral RG value. They all have negative values this entire game. Everybody, like you said, everybody's fully healthy. I don't think you're really getting any kind of meaningful discount on anyone in this game. I think that this game, from a DFS perspective, is quite ugly. If I go to like team exposures in Sims, Toronto is second to last. Orlando is fourth fewest players that I'm getting exposure to. So Sims doesn't like this game either. Honestly, I think this is like a complete kind of stay away. Like, yeah, if I'm building at 150, I could see maybe playing some Desmond Bane at 5% at 7K, fills that shooting guard spot. I think he's kind of maybe has some upside here. I think I'd be Xing out guys like Bonchero and Barnes and Brandon Ingram, and there's no value pieces here that I'm getting exposure to. Are you muted?
Rookie mistake.
Wow, that was a big mute right there.
I told you I'm flustered. D Pike threw me off. you bink my clues, and all of a sudden I'm just not the same. The rest of the rest of the show. So there is one value play. There's one value play. on FanDuel. Murray Boyles is 4.9 over there, and you can play him at power forward or center. There's some versatility, and I don't think would not play him on DK at 6.1. That is a pretty big discount, right down the 4.9 on FanDuel. And this Magic team also, remember how good they were defensively last season? Last 15, I was scrolling through my last 15 stuff. They're like bottom 6 or 7. Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. They are 25th in the league as far as defensive efficiency last 15. The defense has not been there for Orlando, but I think that's the most playable play on FanDuel. But there's like no chance I'm playing Banchero, like you said. I'm not saying you can't do this stuff, but I'm not getting to it. I'm not prioritizing Ingram, Barnes, Banchero. I'm just kind of moving along like this game does not exist, and that's what we're going to do. The next game here, it is Portland and New York, 224. Oh, yeah, that's the ESPN game, or is it Peacock? Whatever the national TV game. Toronto or Orlando. That's the best they can do, really?
Oh,
yeah.
Man, that's pretty brutal.
That doesn't seem great. Yeah, that's not spectacular. Portland and New York, 224.5 is the total. That's why you got to get league pass. 8.5 is the line. New York's favored by 8.5 here versus the Blazers. Denny Avdia is officially questionable with his back. Scoot's got that hamstring, so he's out. There was a positive report on him. I think he was running at least or something, so maybe he's coming back fairly soon. Robert Williams is questionable with his knee. New York, Josh Hart is in with his ankle, and McBride is doubtful with his ankle. New York and Portland, this is another game that I don't necessarily love. How do you feel about New York and Portland? For me, it's very clear like haves and have-nots as far as games I like, games I don't like. This is another one that I don't really like a heck of a lot. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we have an if-then. If Denny sits, I don't think that there's really anybody kind of popping off here. I think you could maybe take some shots on Shaedon Sharp at 7,900. But I don't think that there's really anyone, even if he were to sit, which is kind of crazy, that would really be like a must play here for Portland. I don't know. Like, I think that Jalen Brunson at 8,300, like he's been kind of inconsistent. He hasn't shown much of a ceiling, but I think this is a pretty decent spot, especially if the field's not going to play him. Looks like we're getting to him, he's going to be around 10%. I think that's okay. I think this is a pretty decent spot for OG Anunoby at 6,700. So I think he's okay in GPPs. This Knicks team though is really just kind of like I'd be sprinkling in, not anyone that I'd be getting to in 3 max or single entry.
I'm taking a peek here at what we have as far as ownership this game on DK, and we're getting 16% for Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, and Mitchell Robinson's I think a decent play on FanDuel at 4,500. I know that you can only play one center over there, but I think he's okay. He's more of a stocks guy, which better suits the FanDuel scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you could take shots on him on DK with that. His projection's not horrible, so I guess Mitch Rob is okay. You can throw him into that GPP pool.
I mean, the only counterpoint I have to that is that there's some centers that I like distinctly more that aren't that much more expensive, basically. That's, in the 5s, in the 6s, that kind of thing.
Or even Danny Wolf, who's 45. He's like right there. Like Mitch Rob is the pivot off of Wolf, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about Wolf. I'm kind of going back and forth on it. I guess I'll just throw Wolf most likely in the forward spot because he's power forward eligible. But I assume he's going to play 25. I don't know if Brooklyn's going to do weird things, and it's not like Wolf is this great player. It's just they have 12 guys, and they certainly want to lose this game. And they're insulted that Utah is resting their guys too. Probably it's an insult to say, come on, I want to see Yusuf Nurkic's. I want to see his temperature. Show me his temperature. I don't believe he's saying. That's just me. I'm starting my own little. It's just a coincidence. Whenever you're playing against a crap team, all of a sudden you don't feel as well. Okay. You got anything else as far as Portland and New York, or shall we move on?
I think we can move on.
Okay. You alluded to this game earlier. Sacramento, the Kings. The Kings take on the Celtics, 217.5. It's a total Boston is an 11.5 favorite, big boy favorite here. Sacramento on the back half of a back-to-back. They fully stink. Sabonis cannot play the back half of a back-to-back. Russ Westbrook did not play yesterday, not playing today. No Keegan Murray. So Dennis Schroeder does have a revenge game, which, by the way, I was curious. You want to take a guess? Take a guess for me. How many teams has Dennis Schroeder played for since 2021? Was it 2020 or 2021? I was going through his teams.
6.
I believe it was 8. And he had that big contract from the Lakers, and he said, "Nah, I'm good." They offered him a big contract, and he passed, and he probably never talked to his agent since then. But, here, you want the rundown? I can give you the rundown on his teams. All right. Yeah, so 2020-21, Lakers. 21-22, Boston. 22, Rockets. 22-23, Lakers. 23-24, Toronto. 24, Nets. 24-25, Warriors. 25, Pistons. 25, Kings.
I completely forgot about the Rockets. Like I didn't even know about that one, to be honest with you. I completely spaced that one. How long was he? He wasn't with the Rockets long, was he?
I don't think so. He's 32. And I think, wasn't he traded like 3 days, like 3 times in the span of like 2 days or something like that too, on one of those trade deadlines?
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if he played for those teams. But he had a good game yesterday, and he's still projected to do pretty well here. But the key here is, we kind of alluded to it already, Jaylen Brown officially out for Boston. Otherwise, nobody really of important. They sent down Amari Williams. He's back down in the G League. Kata's good to go. He had the fish. Now he's fine. Revenge game for him, taking on Sacramento, and does get a big advantage. It's Maxime Renaud, who's been really bad defensively. We're assuming he's going to draw the start, and no Sabonis. So his life is made easier in the absence of Sabonis. But really, this is about Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. Do we play 1? Do we play 2? Do we lock them both in? And then Anthony Simons is certainly interesting play off the bench as well. But I think I wrote this in the survey today. Sometimes this stuff is fluid, sometimes it changes. But I'm pretty sure I'm playing at least one of Pritchard or White in every lineup I make. I assume you are going to hold that rule up as well, considering you're only playing 1. Unless you tell me wrong. Tell me you're playing neither of those. You're going to play one of those 2, right?
I'm 100% playing one of them. I'm like 98% going to be playing both of them.
Yeah.
I think you should be getting them into Boston just in general. And like, obviously you're going to be getting to a ton of Pritchard and Derek White. Like if you want to limit those 2 though, in your builds, get to some Anthony Simons, get to some Sam Hauser, get to some Kata. I think that's completely fine. But I would be trying to just make sure you have at least 2 Boston players everywhere. I think if I had to pick one of White or Pritchard, I think I prefer Derek White, but they're both fantastic. If you're playing cash games, I would 100% be locking both of those guys in on DK and on FanDuel. These are definitely core plays. I see Noto has them cored in lineup HQ, so I think he's pretty much in agreement with that. So definitely getting to a ton of those 2. Do you have a preference? Like, are you locking those 2 guys into your build? Like you said, you're getting to at least 1, but I'm assuming you're going to be getting to a lot of 2 Boston, getting to a ton of Pritchard and White. I'm assuming.
I think I slightly prefer Pritchard because of the price, but if you look at the on-off stuff as well, and the 8% bump or so for White is awesome. Pritchard gets a 7.6% usage bump, up to 28.65%. So on the season, as is, all everything included, Pritchard 0.96 FanDuel points per minute, DK flat 1 DK point per minute. When you take Brown off the court, 1.26 team leading 1.26 FanDuel, team leading 1.29 DK. That's a massive leap. So I prefer Pritchard, but I'm not saying don't play White. I'm probably going to play both in some lineups. And if I somehow only play one or play neither, if there's any scenario where I play neither, I'm stacking up another game. Maybe I think this game's going to blow out. I do like Simons as like a cheapie. So like you said, like minimum 2, like I would say minimum 1 of Pritchard, Brown, and White, and Simons. And if I somehow do not have Pritchard or Whites, I really want to get Simons as my cheapie. And this is
Simons is your favorite non-Pritchard White Celtic player, is what you're saying.
I also really like Kata. I think because Kata's not going to be rostered. And I like
Hauser.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. But like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm okay with the fringe players, and like you talked about minimum 2. I probably don't disagree with that. But this game could be a full-on shellacking. Back half of a back-to-back. Sacramento, the most unserious basketball team. Well, bottom 5 in the NBA. They're without some key pieces again. They're resting Sabonis. They're resting Westbrook. I kind of like Boston minus 11. I can foresee a potential blowout where you're not getting ceiling games out of multiple players. That's my one concern. So I don't know if I would go minimum 2, but for sure I'll have 1 in every lineup. You're saying minimum 2?
I would go min 2.
Yeah. I like him a lot. And I'm not going to argue with you, say if you think White's better than Pritchard. Fine. I don't have a
lot of conviction with that. He just fills another spot because he's shooting guard eligible. But yeah, I don't have a ton of conviction, Pritchard or White, because I'm almost positive I'll just be playing both.
Yeah, Ruthless Villain says that the DVP loves Keita. I was looking at that as well. Post bigs, that's what Keita is. It's the number 1 matchup according to RotoGrinders defense versus archetype matchup tool. And again, so also Sacramento on the season, they're the worst rebounding team in basketball. I think it's 47.5% of rebounds they grab. So I think Keita's got a really good shot to get himself a cheap double-double. I like him better on FanDuel when you consider price. So, and I think, is he forward eligible on FanDuel? I think he is. Pretty sure he's a power forward over there. Oh, no, he's not. Am I making that up? I don't know why I thought he was. But he's 5'3" over on FanDuel, which is cheaper than his 5'7" DK price. So, yeah, I think he's a really interesting play. Just, again, you only can roster 1 on FanDuel, but the price is pretty good. I think he's got a really good shot to get a double-double on DK. He kind of has to at 5'7". Hopefully you get a couple stocks mixed in. Looks like Luka is officially in, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
Luka's in. Reeves is out.
Oh, Reeves out.
Yeah, Reeves is out. Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on a couple of questions from chat. Is it okay to play White and Pritchard and DK single entry? Absolutely. I think that's going to be a very, very popular build, but I like it. Is there any Hugo Gonzalez love? If you want to play this game as like a big time blowout, maybe that he's okay. We have projected for 16 minutes. He's 3,400. I think it's a really, really like highly speculative play. Yeah. I think it's extremely risky. I don't love it, but I could see that. I could see a path that might work, but it's very risky.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to make at least 100 lineups before I consider Hugo Gonzalez.
I was going to say he probably wouldn't crack my first 20. So
yeah, and it could be Garza, it could be Shireman. I don't know which one of these. One of these guys probably puts up a good score. I don't know which one. It could be Walsh. I'm not digging that deep on that one, and we're going to see a bigger projection on Luka, I imagine, with Reeves out. I mean, just a couple points or whatever it is, incremental with the absence of Reeves. We were giving Reeves, I think, 24 minutes. Yeah, okay. So now I feel that's the thing. Like, so we have White, we have Pritchard, and we have Luka. Is that what we're doing? Can we play all 3 of those guys in one lineup? Can we try to figure that out? Can we play all 3?
Did you say Pritchard, White, and Luka?
Yeah, can I play all 3 of those guys together?
I know
we can, but like, can I do that with confidence? Like, how's the rest of my lineup going to look?
We can try.
Yeah.
I just plugged it into Lineup HQ. It's not horrible. I'm not saying it's necessarily something that you have to do or that I think it's like the absolute, must play thing to do, but I don't think it's not horrible.
You got 4-7 left on DK. If you do that, if we're looking at the value plays on the board, we're talking about like you're gonna get Wolf. You might get some Cam Thomas, Filipowski if you can afford him. I don't know if you can afford Filipowski, maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like what, and then anybody else that does it, you're gonna all kind of have the same people, right? Isn't everybody else gonna fill it out with Wolf? Maybe Schroeder, maybe Filipowski, maybe Robinson from New York, Kyle Anderson, dare I say, slow-mo.
Oh, dear.
Get excited.
We should talk about Sacramento real quick, just because I've seen a couple of people wanting to hear our Sacramento takes, and this game's going to be pretty popular on the Boston side. Dennis Schroeder, I think at 5,100, he's fine for GPPs. We saw him put up close to 40 fantasy points. He's only 5,100. I think he's okay in GPPs. I know that Monk is back, but I think that we can still. I think we can still play Schroeder. I don't hate it, especially if we're going to be getting to a ton of this Boston side. You mentioned Maxime Reynon at 4,600. I don't know. I don't think this is really the spot for him. I think there's other cheap centers. I don't know. Did you mention that you liked him? I think that there's.
I was talking about how bad his defense is. He's another guy. Okay. Vandal, he's 3.8, but he's center only.
Yeah, he's center only. I don't like that. I think it's really just Schroeder on the Sacramento side. Do you have anybody on that side that you have?
I think it's basically Schroeder. Renault is just like he's going to split time with Cardwell, who they seem to like. I don't like trying to mess with the Kings rotations and stuff. And I know DeRozan had a nice game yesterday, but I'm not chasing that. Every once in a while, he falls into those games where he scores like 30 points actually on the bucket, but it's not for me. I think Schroeder's the most interesting play on Sacramento, and even that I'm trying to find ways to get away from it, but he should be fine. Very vengeful. He was terrible in Boston. He's very angry how terrible he was in Boston. Let's move along. It's Memphis and New Orleans. I like this game. I think this is one of my pivots off of the Boston stuff. If I want to go light on Boston, it's because I want to play Triple J and Zion against each other. That seems like a lot of fun. 231.5 is the total. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite here versus the Grizz. This is the last of these 7:30 games. Santi Aldama's out. Zach Edey's out. I did see Ty Jerome earlier in the day was doubtful. He's out now, but just I guess that means he's coming. Maybe he's coming soon. Ty Jerome, we haven't seen him. Ja is still out for Memphis. Scottie Pippen also out for Memphis. New Orleans is fully healthy. The way it is for the country, right? There's no pool parties. Pretty much most places outside of probably my neighbors, but here in Florida, no pool party on the Pels either. Like pool is just done. Like just X them out. I know there's always somebody that asks if tonight's a pool party night. It is not. It's not a pool party night. Yeah, I do. I heard
it was like 32 degrees in Florida, Dean. Is this true?
It was like 40. It might have gotten the 30s, and I don't recall. But yeah, it hit it was in the low 40s. Yeah.
Man, tough scene for you.
My electric bill was outrageous. I don't know how far back we're going. I couldn't believe how high it was. Like that seems ridiculous. I'm not cranking the air when it's 40, or the heat. Are you serious? I'm not putting them. We're not. Do you put the heat on? You probably do that in Maine every once in a while?
Oh man, I have never spent this much money on fuel in my entire life.
Really? You got to heat the house.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, it's like 0 where you're at, so I guess that's
it's been 0 for like I don't know 30 days straight. I feel like.
Jeez. Oh man. You got a fireplace, I assume, or no? There's not necessarily. You got the heater for.
I've got 4 fireplaces.
Whoa, that is a humble brag. 4 fireplaces.
Oh yeah.
Study?
What's that?
Do you have a study?
Kind of. Yeah.
Wow. We got to see the Tim Mansion. We got to take a vacation one of these days. How are you feeling about New Orleans and Memphis?
Yeah, this is a really, really great game. 232 total. I think this is a really nice pivot away from some of the chalkier, like you said, some of the chalkier Boston stuff. I think this is a fantastic game environment, really close spread. I love Zion tonight. I love JJJ. So it's definitely. I think there's some really good game stack potential here. Whether you want to go full game stack like a 2-2-2. Or just getting like a little mini Zion JJJ. I think that's completely fine. One value piece that's popping in a lot of optimals right now is Herb Jones at 4,400. So I think that he's a really, really good kind of salary saving piece that you can get to. He's shooting guard, small forward. So I do like that. Sadiq Bey is somebody that's been just playing fantastic. He's definitely got 40 plus fantasy point upside. He's 6K. So there's definitely, I'd be getting to a lot of pieces in this game in a GPP set. Yeah. So this is a really strong game. Definitely a game that's just not really showing up very too much in optimizers right now that I really do like.
I don't know how I feel about her being popular. I will play him, I think, in a stack, but I don't like him as like an a la carte piece. He just seems like a bad player if he's going to be 25, 30% rostered, give or take. We're showing right now 24%. This stuff will change, but you mentioned Herb, and they're fully healthy. They have a bunch of dudes. I don't know, man. 3-and-D. If this maybe you can get an outlier game as far as making a couple extra threes, getting a couple extra stocks, then you're in trouble. But he's not somebody that the offense flows through. But yeah, I do love the idea of building a game stack starting with Zion and Triple J. I like Murphy a good bit too, like one of Zion and Murphy, possibly both. And then maybe like Triple J and Landale, maybe. I don't know. I like Landale too. Yeah, Derek Queen, pretty bad defender. I don't know. This is my pivot away from Boston. That do you think this game's gonna be popular? It doesn't sound like you think it's gonna be very popular.
I mean, it's gonna be somewhat popular. I think Zion and Herb Jones are gonna be popular, but as you get into the Memphis side, I don't think it's gonna be. I think guys like Cam Spencer, I don't think that Cam Spencer is gonna be that popular. I don't think JJJ is gonna be that popular. Like we're talking, and when I say not that popular, I don't think they're gonna be over 15%.
Yeah.
Like they'll be 10%, 15%. I don't think they're going to get super steamed. So that's why I really like this game. This game is actually giving me the biggest amount of trouble, the biggest headache, I guess, so to speak, in terms of what to do in single entry, because I don't want to completely fade it, but I don't really know who I'm going to be playing. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of trouble currently. Like Zion is the obvious play, but I think that you need to be a little bit more creative with this game if you want to play it the correct way.
We got Zion at 23%, Murphy at 16. Like they're kind of the same to me. I know Murphy's is a little bit more expensive, so I suppose that's why their projections essentially the same. But if you have the salary, I would take Murphy over Zion straight up. You're going to get more minutes if nothing else. Do you want to hear the chat's giving me the business here, Tim, as far as like being so surprised by like heaters and stuff? They're making fun of me. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but I'll tell you, when I many years ago, I lived in Vegas with some friends, a couple other Florida boys, and we thought it'd be fun to we had a fireplace, and we never had a fireplace before, none of us. And let's light this bad boy up. This seems like a fun thing to do on the first night, the christen the place, and we put the log in, and I think we were playing some video games or watching a movie or whatever, and then out of nowhere, the room gets really smoky. And it's like, I can barely see the person next to me. It turns out, I don't know if you know this.
Are you sure that was from the fireplace theme?
It was from the fireplace. That was the origin. And so it turns out it was not in the manual, but you have to open this thing called the flute or a flute. Flue? Is it a flue or a flute? And so the smoke goes someplace. And we didn't know this. So so my friend had to grab the log out of the fireplace and threw it off the balcony and almost hit somebody. And we all survived. Everything's fine. But that was an experience. Nobody told us about the flute or the flu.
It's the flu.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my only experience, I think, with fireplaces. Ever since I'm like, I'm just never going to mess with that. How do you open this thing? There's no button. I didn't see a button.
That's true. There is no button.
Give me a button, and I didn't operate those. I didn't really think about it, but I guess I should have. I guess I'm a dope. Okay.
They don't teach you that at UCF, do they?
No. I did not major in the flu. Okay. Anything else, or are we scooting along here and talking about the later games, the 9:00 block?
Let's scoot.
They have electric fireplaces. Yeah, I have the one that it's like a TV channel or like that one, but it doesn't heat up the room in any way. It just looks like it's actually working, but it's actually not. The third clue, I'll give you the third and the fourth. We already got a winner for Film Friday. I'm very angry about it, but if you're still playing along, Delicious Formula by, as in BYE, and speaking of flu, Instrument was the fourth clue. Okay, 9:00. 9:00. We're jumping ahead an hour and a half. Again, we have 4 games in this late block, 5 early, 4 late. The Cavs are taking on the Suns, 2:23 That's the total. The Suns are 3-point dogs here. Who's in? Who's out for this affair? Well, Cleveland is still without Darius Garland. They're going to be without Mobley for a couple of weeks, it seems like. Craig Porter Jr. downgraded to questionable. He's got a knee. Otherwise, nothing else new, right? We've seen Strus out. So, yeah, nothing changing there. For Phoenix, it's just Booker because, well, for now, Jalen Green's going to play basketball tonight. Jalen Green is back. So that kind of mucks it up a little bit, I suppose. But he keeps, he's played a lot less games than he's not played. He's been injured basically the entire season. He's off the injury report. It's just Booker. How you feeling about the Suns and the Cavs?
I had a lot of interest in Donovan Mitchell at the beginning of the day. I feel like that's kind of fading a little bit just because I'm kind of digesting the rest of the slate and some of this news. Like I'm kind of more building into that Memphis New Orleans game, that Boston game that we talked about, the Lakers Washington game. So this game is kind of falling a little bit. I don't think I'm going to pay that much for Mitchell in this spot. It doesn't matter if Porter plays or not. That really has no factor on my decision. I think Jared Allen is probably my favorite play, especially over on FanDuel where he still has that power forward eligibility. I do like him at 6,400, but I just don't think I'm going to be paying that premium for Mitchell here. I just think that there's better spots. I think there's better game environments. So I think this game is really going to be a pass for me in single entry. I think that, our projections kind of agree with that sentiment as well. There's only Mitchell has a positive RG value on both DK and FanDuel. Better play over on DK, but still, I don't think I'm going to pay that price for him.
I don't think so either, and I wouldn't discourage it. Again, I just don't think that's where I'm going to land. But certainly, you can play him in tournaments. I'm looking at the ownership stuff now. I ran some optimals as well. I want to see what kind of stuff we're getting optimal-wise, what's changed, if anything's changing throughout the day. But the way we're seeing ownership right now, Mitchell is coming in 18% on DK. Everybody else, single digits or below. Man, Jalen Tyson is up to 6.9K, which is
I really have liked him all season. He's definitely somebody that and I've got exposure to him, and he's done quite well for me. But I don't think I'm gonna do it today.
It's a tough price, man. 6.9 is it's the top. I don't know if he's going to get much higher than that, but he's earned it. He is 6.3 on FanDuel. If you're going to play him at FanDuel. At least it's a better spot better price on FanDuel. But it's fully justified. He's going to get a ton of run. Grayson Allen on the other side, another guy that's just the price is kind of getting out of hand, 7K. Dylan Brooks at 6.8, who's been awesome this year, undeniably awesome this year. What did he put up yesterday against? How many points did he drop in the bucket against Detroit? 40. He dropped a 40 burger. 40, 26, 26 his last 3 games. He's another guy that just kind of gets no respect. He has that reputation of just being, defensive and just, ornery, getting not necessarily somebody that's going to take a bunch of shots, but he's shown this season that he wants to shoot more, and Booker's off the court. So I don't know how much I love this game, but certainly it's an interesting game for tournaments. And, it's not hard to get over the field on Brooks at 7-8%. It's not that hard. Mitchell, 20% seems about right for me. I don't think I would get it beyond that. But I don't really have a ton of love in this game. I'm kind of in line with you. As far as single entry stuff, I don't think I'm getting here. But I'm okay. If would I blow the whole thing up? If, Brooks fits or Tyson fits or Mitchell fits, probably not. But I'm also not going to have the chance to fit in Mitchell, I don't think. We got anything else here as far as Cleveland and Phoenix?
No, I think we're good.
I do want to shout out Pick Labs, which is the newest RotoGrinders feature. It lets you scan the best player prop and pick 'em bets in just seconds. Everything is broken down for you. Edges, win rates, value, all the goods. It's on a clean board that shows you which plays actually stand out across the sports books, sites like Underdog, Prize Picks. When you see something you like, Pick Labs, it's actually going to build the slip for you and send it straight to the book of your choice. Where can you find this? Well, you can find Pick Labs at RotoGrinders.com/Pick Labs. RotoGrinders.com/Pick Labs. 3 more games to go. Beginning any news here? Josh Hart officially in. Deuce McBride officially out. I thought we already had that on Hart, but it's officially official that Josh Hart is going to play basketball tonight. The Clippers taking on Denver. 219.5 is a total. It's not a very exciting total. Denver's a 3-point dog here. They were a 7-point dog earlier in the day until news broke that Joker, I think it was Shams who said he's going to play. He's still officially questionable on the injury report, but we're assuming he's in. We're assuming he's back.
He's going to play.
Yeah, I assume so. Shams has been on this a couple times. I think it was Shams. So that means Denver is just unplayable. Can we just say that? Like, Joker's probably not going to play his full 34. Maybe he plays 30. It's not a good matchup against the Clippers. 219.5. Slower team, good defensive team. So I don't see any reason. And then, of course, Jamal Murray, in the absence of Joker, has been spectacular. But now you want us to pay $10K for Jamal Murray with Joker back? Get out of town. Peyton Watson, 7-4. That's outrageous. We can't have this conversation. Jonas Valanciunas? No chance. One of the worst point per dollar plays in the slates. So we're crossing Denver out, I think. Or would you consider playing Joker? I can't imagine.
No way. I think that I do not think that you can play him today. He's got to get eased in a little bit, right? And you're not getting him at any kind of salary discount. So, I mean, I don't think I can play him today. I think I wasn't even going to consider him. I completely have eliminated Denver from my pool. He's 12-5.
Yeah.
We haven't projected for. So, like you said, even if he gets like 32, that would bring up his projection to close to 50. That's not even close to enough. I mean, I just don't think you can do that. So I'm out on him. I'm out on this entire Denver side. I'm really not even getting to any Clippers here. This game is real ugly in terms of value. This is kind of like that Toronto Orlando game where I'm just not getting anybody from it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm playing anybody in this game. Ownership wise, I'm pulling it up. Is anybody in double digits? I don't think so. 1% James Harden. Jim Harden 1%.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's playing anybody this game. So if you want to be a little different, and there's worse players to be on at 1%. I don't think I'm doing it. Oh, we do have a Harden on FanDuel at 9.6 at 10%. Zubac at 2%, Kawhi at 2%. But really, there's just nothing to get excited about. Two of the slowest teams in basketball, Clippers, are the third slowest. Denver's the fifth slowest. There's really nothing to point to say this is a game we should play. It's just not appealing in any possible way for me. So I say we scoot along. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good catch me up game.
Catch me up for this nonsense. Brooklyn and Utah, 226.5. They're playing basketball tonight in Utah. The Jazz are 3 points favorites despite their best efforts. They're favored to win this game. They are sitting down Kevin Love. He's ill too. He was hanging out with Yusuf Nurkic. Yusuf Nurkic is ill. Lauri Markkanen's got to rest. He is exhausted. Lauri Markkanen, exhausted. Somebody get him a pillow. Brooklyn is without Noah Clowney. He's got a back. Michael Porter, they said personal reasons. I hope things are well with him. Zaire Williams, he's out with a calf. They do have 12 bodies, Brooklyn. I know Wolf is projecting really well. Jaeger Yoman is projected pretty well too. I love picking on Filipowski with centers. I'm a little bit concerned that we're not going to get the appropriate minutes for Claxton. But if we get, I think we were projecting 29 earlier. If you tell me no more, no less, 29 Claxton minutes versus Filipowski, I think I'm in. I like that. I like that a lot. We're giving 29. Again, I'm a little bit concerned that Brooklyn might do something squirrely. How do you see the Nets and the Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, this should be a really good game for DFS. For DFS, definitely not a game. I'm not going to be watching this game out of the love of professional sports, but for DFS, this is fantastic, or at least it should be. Definitely getting to a ton of Filipowski and Cam Thomas right now. Those are like the two, in my opinion, the primary pieces of this game that I think we should be building heavily into. Danny Wolf is I think great. I think there's a little bit of fragility there. I don't really like his projected ownership. He seems like he's going to be incredibly chalky, which makes me a little bit nervous. But I do love that he has power forward center eligibility, and I do love that price tag. And if he plays those around 25 minutes, I think he could do really, really well here. So I get it. I see why people like him. I think that's a really great call on Nick Claxton, and I do not think he's going to be very popular. He's kind of hovering around, I don't know, 10 to 15% right now. So yeah, we did have a comment in chat like Cam Thomas's projection seems a little bit low. Well, I mean, we only have a projector for 25 minutes, so it's not like he's going to get like tons, like, over 30 minutes here. So I think that's why his projections is a little bit, it's a little bit muted. But I still think at that price tag, he's really a strong play.
He's not played more than 25 minutes since early November. They've really kind of actually, I stand corrected. He played 30 minutes. No, he scored 30 points. I'm just reading this wrong. Yeah, he's not played more than 25 minutes since early November. He's basically on a 25-minute cap. He also basically has to score, right? There's like no other way he gets there. He's got to put like 15 points in the bucket and sprinkle in elsewhere, which he certainly can. This is the matchup to do it. You mentioned Claxton. This is another one of those deals where FanDuel, he's 6'1" on FanDuel. Center only, but 6'1". We're showing 35% ownership. I believe he's like your cash game center right now on FanDuel. So again, distinctly different on FanDuel as far as the price. Multiple players that I like are just better plays over on FanDuel than they are on DK. Not saying you can't play him. On DK, we have him at 15% currently. And like Wolf at 46%, man, that seems like that's a lot. That's a lot of percent. That's almost half, I think. They taught me that at UCF.
What do you think about Agor as a pivot off of Cam Thomas?
Yeah, I'm okay with Jaeger Yeoman. The problem with him, right, is point guard to some degree because we like a lot of point guards, it seems. We like Luka, we like White, we like Pritchard. I know some of those guys are shooting guard eligible, but I like Jaeger Yeoman. I think his minutes are a little bit more secure than Thomas. What are we giving him? 26. That's the thing. We are okay. So there is some head stuff in here, but we are projecting 12 players to play for Brooklyn. Now, again, Liddell, 1 minute. That's a hedge minute. Who knows if he's going to play or not? Seraph, 16. Wilson, 15. Traore, 22. Powell, 24. Yeoman, 26. I don't think anybody's projected for more than, 29 is the most for Claxton. And everybody else is like 26, 26, 26, 26. And that's probably what we're going to see. I think I kind of expect that because, not that these guys are spectacular, but they're better than the other one. Their 1 through 5 is definitely better than their 6 through 10. And they also kind of want to lose this game. So
is Terrence Mann a good play for value? I think if you absolutely love the rest of your team, he's okay as a last piece, but I wouldn't be like starting off with him being like, that's the guy I'm going to plug in for value. But if you're like, I love my team. I don't want to switch it up. I think he's okay, but I don't love him. What about you, Dino?
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm not happy about it. That's not,
yeah.
Didn't wake up this morning and say, who I want to roster today? Yeah. What is his ceiling? Man, I don't know. What are you really hoping to get out of him? You're like begging.
Yeah, that's why I think he's just a good last piece. Like he's okay to maybe get you like 15 to 20 maybe, but I don't love it. And then we got a question like, is Cam Thomas a must play in cash games? I actually don't think so. Earlier in the day, I kind of had him locked in. I don't know if he's necessarily a must play in cash, just because I don't think he's not going to get tons of minutes. Like, I think he's okay. Like if you play him, that's fine. He's certainly going to be popping in optimals, but I don't think he's a must.
I was trying to think about rules for Brooklyn. Like, I feel like I wouldn't play more than 2. I'm just trying to think if I would play 2. By the way, Jake LaRavia is projecting decently now. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, but that's just not surprising given that Reeves is out. But I don't know if he's like a must either with Luka still there.
So the first optimal that I have, and I add some variants and that kind of stuff. So don't take this as it's gospel. It does have Luka. It does have White. It does have Pritchard. And then we're like, how do we make this work? Well, there's a couple of Utah players. There's Jake LaRavia. There's somebody on Brooklyn. Yeah, you can kind of figure out who I'm alluding to. But yeah, this lineup looks like it's going to be – that's like what you do if you're playing those three, it seems like. Oh, it also has it's got slow-mo in it too. I said a couple of Utah players, one of which being slow-mo. Get excited about Kyle Anderson.
I kind of like Kyle Anderson better than Terrence Mann. I know he's $100 more and he fills a different position, but I do think he's okay.
The only argument against it, and I agree with you, is that Mann gets to play against Utah. So there's this bigger, Brooklyn's slower than, they're not great, obviously, but Utah is just that's the pinnacle as far as racking up fantasy points. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm just a little concerned about the Brooklyn rotation. I think Claxton's a really, really good tournament play. I guess more so on DK because he'll be popular on FanDuel, but certainly you can play him on FanDuel too. Slow-mo this year is averaging over a fantasy point per minute for what it's worth, 1.01. He hasn't played a ton. He just doesn't do one
Dennis
thing.
Schroeder or Dennis Schroeder or Cam Thomas?
I think it's Schroeder. I think Schroeder's a better play. No?
I kind of agree with you. He's $500 more, but I think Schroeder's is probably better.
Mr. Irrelevant says Slow-mo had 4 steals against the Nets back on December 4th. Now, that is irrelevant for Mr. Irrelevant. That's of note, I suppose, but how repeatable is that? But he does do like a little bit of everything. Nothing well, but a little bit of everything. He can get you like 5, 5, 4, 3, 1, and it adds up to like 23. Yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to handle this game, and we might get something else weird later on in the day. But you mentioned Cody Williams is questionable, and if he doesn't play, we're down to 9, right?
Yeah, we have an if then for that. I mean, Kyle Filipowski would rate spectacular, I think, if Cody Williams were out. A small little bump to the value of Keontae George. I don't think. I think Kyle Anderson on FanDuel would end up being a pretty good play as well. But yeah, it's not huge news, but I think it's meaningful.
There's a question in chat. So who's your favorite game to stack for potential overtime? And I think
it's the Memphis Pelly game, right?
Well, I was going to say, I feel like I read a study on this once, and basically it's like impossible. Like you would think in theory, it's like, well, what's the game with the 1-point line or the 2-point line or the 3-point line? And I feel like I read a study on this where they said basically the chances of overtime have been, or how it's played out, the same for like a 10-point line than a 1-point line. Don't quote me on this, but I'm remembering reading something like that of that sort. But in theory, yes, I do agree with that theory. Like the closer games are more likely, I suppose, to go to OT than say, I don't know, Washington and the Lakers. But certainly that game could go. I wouldn't also like feel like I could predict it. You think you can predict which game goes to overtime? I don't think you can. All right. Oh, question in chat from Derek. Thomas and Wolf versus Schroeder and LaRavia. Yeah, these are the questions we're going to be having in crunch time and fielding.
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Because I kind of like, I guess Schroeder.
Schroeder or LaRavia over Thomas and Wolf, the 2 Brooklyn guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Mr. Roberts reminding us that Monk is back. He is back. I think we're giving him like 25 minutes or so. Let me see if that's changed or not. We're kind of circling back here, but it is of note since we're talking about it. For Sacramento, we're giving Schroeder 29 minutes. We're giving Monk 26. Yeah, Levine 32. We do have another game. There's another game on the slate. This is the back half of the national TV doubleheader, by the way. It is Detroit and Golden State. Couple of stinkers, let's be honest. And this is because of Golden State, not so much Detroit. Detroit's pretty good. The Golden State kind of stinks. TJ's telling me to ask Mr. Predicto, but TJ knows you can only ask Mr. Predicto yes or no questions. You can't say which game goes overtime. They're not going to. Mr. Predicto doesn't know who the Pistons are or the Warriors. He only knows yes or no questions. 224.5 is the total. Golden State is a slight favorite here versus Detroit. By the way, you talk about this other night. I want to see Beef Stew get into it with Draymond Green. Could I bet on that? Like a kerfuffle of some sort with those two? I could see that happening. Then this is the last game of the night as far as who's in and out in this one. Well, Detroit, Cade Cunningham is on the injury report. He's officially probable with his hip. LeVert, illness. He is doubtful. We know Jimmy Butler's not playing. We know Kuminga's not playing. Guy Santos is probable with his calf. No Seth Curry. Otherwise, everybody is healthy. Both these teams are healthy. Both these teams play a lot of pieces. They're kind of unpredictable. I decided today, well, going forward until further, I'm not. Why am I playing Draymond Green like ever? He flopped versus.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Utah.
When you flop against Utah, that's it. You go in the no bucket. And like, how many games is Draymond Green like? Oh man, I wish I rostered Draymond Green this year. Like twice, maybe. No ceiling. So here's where fast forward where he goes off tonight. Gives you the old school like 10-10-10. I don't really like this game. Do you like this game?
I hate this game. There's like three, I think, pretty big stinkers, like you said. Like you said at the top of the show, there's a lot of haves and haves nots on this slate, and this is definitely a have not. I'm not getting to anybody here. You can always take shots on Curry. I guess you could take a shot on Cade Cunningham, but it's like he's just so expensive. But I mean, he's not going to be played. But I think if anyone, you take a shot on Curry here. He's 9K. Like he could definitely get you there. But I mean, I might have him in 1 out of 20 or something like that. You know, like he's not going to be like a primary fixture in any kind of GPP set here. So this game, I think, is really, really ugly. It's just, this is not a game that I want to have exposure to.
Yeah, I see people in the chat talking about pods. He's been all right. Yeah, the price is kind of bumped up now to 6K. This Detroit defense,
but they were injuries. I think Curry was out during that really good pod.
One of those games,
right? Yeah. I mean, with Curry in, I don't see a reason to get exposure to him.
Detroit's second best defense in all of basketball. I mean, you know, they're the best defense in all of basketball by almost 3 points in their last 15 games. I just I don't see a reason to mess with it. I mean, if Steph puts 50 points in the bucket, so be it. I do not envision myself playing Steph. If I do have Steph, it's because I like late swap something late and I was trying to catch up or something. That's not the plan as of right now. Crunch time. The plan is for them to join us in a few minutes. Crunch time coming on in a few minutes. I believe TJ is going to be holding it down once again, joined by Beermakersfan and Noto, two of the OGs. Yeah, TJ jumping in here as well. I never gave the fifth clue for Film Friday since we had a winner, and I was tilted. I was annoyed, but I'll give the fifth clue, and I'll explain. Dance. It is scrolling. I think producer Steve dropped it earlier when I was paying attention to the slates, but delicious formula by instrument dance. We got a winner in one. Shout out to D Pike. Delicious refers to a type of apple. What's your favorite apple? You have a favorite apple, Tim? You big apple guy?
Not a huge apple guy. I do like apples, but they're not a staple.
How do you like them apples? Red Delicious. I think it's the chalk, isn't it? Isn't Red Delicious the chalk? I feel like it's the chalk. Or Granny, maybe Granny.
Granny's more the chalk, I believe.
It's green though. Green is contrarian, isn't it? Isn't that a contrarian apple?
Maybe.
So delicious was referring to apples, apple pie, formula. What is a formula? Well, and how does that refer to the movie we're talking about that was already guessed? Well, pi is a formula. It is 3.14. There's more digits, but I don't want to get into it. Bye is in reference to the old Don McLean song, right? Bye bye, Miss American Pie. So delicious formula by instrument. We mentioned flute earlier, not flute, but flute. There was a very skilled flute player in this movie, and dance. It all kind of the movie revolves around a prom. Which one thing you do at prom is you dance. That's people do that. The movie's American Pie, Tim. Movie's American Pie. You sent me a text earlier. You're going to make a movie about Catherine O'Hara. And I said, well, I didn't. That would be too obvious, R.I.P. But she worked with Eugene Levy a ton. Like, her and Eugene Levy made just a pile of movies together. Schitt's Creek, of course, the TV show. That's SCHITT''S, just so. Best in Show, Mighty Wind, Home Alone. I don't think Eugene Levy was in that. That was John Candy. But there you go. So shout out to D Pike for getting that in one. Today's film was American Pie. I gave you time, Tim. Who is breaking the slate? Who are the plums or the apples, if you will, tonight?
I'm going to go with Jaren Jackson Jr. Just absolutely love that game. You can run him back with multiple Pelly pieces, or just play him solo if you want to. But I'd recommend playing a little game stack of that game, and I'd be getting to some Jaren Jackson with that. And I don't think he's going to be super chalky. So I really like JJJ tonight.
Yeah, I love that. I'm definitely going to have a JJJ lineup ran back with one of the Pels, either Zion or Murphy. That seems like a fun time for sure. Bogey in chat's telling me Honeycrisp might be the chalk. Yeah, I think Honeycrisp is on the board as well for brands of apples. But all right, let's do it. Let's seamlessly segue. Let's be at crunch time. They're jumping in right now. It's the OGs and TJ. Here we do. Crunch time. What up, TJ? You got any apple takes for the people?
I always forget which one's which, but the one that's mostly red with a little bit of yellow, that's the one that I like. Like there's the red and green one, but then there's also the red with a little bit of yellow. I like the one with the red and a little bit of yellow.
All right, fair enough. Beer, Noto, do you have any apple takes? I know you're ready for this. You guys studied all day for this.
Honeycrisp for sure.
Yeah, Honeycrisp. My daughter's taken to the contrarian Granny Smith lately. My kids tear up some apples, so we go through. We need the old Costco bags of apples. They fly through them. So,
how many you got to buy at Costco though? You got to buy 20 probably.
I think it's a 5-pounder.
Huh.
They'll tear them up though. How do apples the topic today? I must have missed something.
Well, today's film it is Film Friday, Beer, and I know you're celebrating. Today's Film Friday, and American Pie was our film, and Delicious was our first clue. Red Delicious apples, and somebody got it in one, so I'm still tilting from it. I'm still angry.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in forever. I don't know if it holds up, but yeah, I mean, back in the day, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, I don't know if they should have made like 17 directed the video sequels necessarily, which I think Eugene Levy was the last one standing on those that you'd find like in the Walmart bin. Do they still do that? I don't know. Remember that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are some American Pies you've never heard of that exist. I promise.
They're still making them, I'm pretty sure.
Are they really?
Yeah.
There's like 7 or 8 of them. It's like, who signed off on this?
It's like Scream. They're making another Scream movie.
Well, those
they
are
already
still,
have.
How dare you? Those are still making money, the Scream movies.
I don't know how, but
they're fun. No?
They are. 30 years ago, they were fun. We'll see.
I don't think it's any of the same people involved or anything like that, except maybe Eugene Levy pops in every now and then. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like it's an IP you can use to say you're getting a raunchy comedy set in somewhere in college.
It's like just saying National Lampoons, I think. I think it's the same idea.
100%.
I think that's what it's at this point. All right. Tim, anything else before you step aside and get out of here?
No, we're good.
That was Tim. I was Dean. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do not go anywhere. You got 41 minutes. 21. Bad math. 41 minutes.
Yeah, baby.
Shout out UCF. TJ, it's all yours.
What's up, everyone? Great job to Dean and Tim. Now it is time for some NBA crunch time. I'm your host today, TJ Zwarych, joined by 2 of the extra sharpest minds in the biz, 2 of the OGs. First up, we got Notorious Derek Farnsworth. How you doing, Noto?
Yeah, doing good. And it's Friday, so let's fire up the chat. Let's get something non-basketball we can talk about a little bit. But yeah, doing good. Excited for the slate. It's a big one, but we got most of the injury news, which is kind of nice.
Feels good to see both of you on a week where we don't have the Tournament Take Show anymore. I was worried I'd miss you this weekend, and instead I got to see Kirkties yesterday. Both of you guys today worked out perfectly. I'm, of course, talking about Beermakersfan. Beer, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. Like Noto said, nice slate of games here tonight. Plenty to talk about with all the injuries, guys sitting out, and like he said, we can talk Super Bowl. Who's everybody's Super Bowl pick? It feels like Seattle is the chalk pick, obviously, but if anyone's got any takes, get them in there. But plenty of hoops to talk here, so Excited to kick off the weekend with a nice Friday night slate.
Eric S. in chat asking if we took a moment for Catherine O'Hara. She helped inspire the film Friday today because her and Eugene Levy were close friends, worked together a lot. But yes, of course, RIP to Catherine O'Hara. A tragic loss today in the film industry. But let's talk, hopefully, something to get our spirits up a little bit, a little more excited. Get your Super Bowl picks in there in chat. And let's talk about today's NBA slate because we got a fun one. Noto, you wrote up the core plays. I will throw it to you first. Give me your overview of what we're looking at tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to get a lot of Boston love tonight at home against Sacramento. No Jaylen Brown. So if you pull up the on-off splits without Brown on the floor, going to get a lot of Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. I think they're pretty easy, good chalk plays tonight. And then, man, a lot of good games too. Now that we got the Denver situation, we probably don't need to worry about them. Jokic is back. Big Val's playing. Jamal Murray's playing. So that's a game I'm probably going to avoid. I do like the Nets and Jazz game late. Markkanen and Nurkic are out for Utah. And then we have Michael Porter Jr. out for Brooklyn. So I think that game could have some serious shootout potential. And then there are a few games that I just don't have much interest in, whether they're good defensive teams or slow-paced slugs or, just fully healthy teams. Got a couple of those on the slate too. So I'm mainly looking at the two games that I mentioned, but kind of like Washington too. We've kind of been seeing them after not being able to trust them all season. They've had some really good fantasy outings over the last couple of weeks.
Couldn't agree more. Beer, how about you? Feel free to give a little bit of an overview, or if not, dive right into the point guard position on DraftKings.
Yeah, Noto summed it up pretty well. The one thing, we don't have any super massive totals. I mean, we have that Memphis-New Orleans game at 231.5. Everything else kind of in the 220s, couple games under that. So, not the flashiest slate in the world, but a lot of games and a lot of choices to be made. So point guard, he nailed the two guys I think most people are going to look at. And Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. You're talking 8.6% usage bump for White without Brown on the floor, 7.6% for Pritchard. So it's so much usage left behind that, cash games, I think you play them both. In tournaments, I think you can play them both. Like Noto said, I think this is the chalk that's good. All chalk is not bad. These two guys just rate out so well here tonight. You could even dig in Anthony Simons if you wanted to get a little bit different, a little less ownership. That one's a little more risky, but 4,700, I think he's a solid value. Dennis Schroeder on the other side, no Westbrook. So he's been playing well of late. I think he's a great, you want to run it back with Boston stuff. You want to get different. There's a lot of ways that you can put him in a lineup, feel good about it. Bub Carrington, another guy I really like today. We know Trae Young not going to be back. Johnson's still dealing with an injury to that ankle, came out of the game the other night. So I think he's a great play. And then I agree on the Nets. I think they're interesting. Thomas likely going to be pretty highly owned. We'll get to that. But Igor Demin, I think, is a solid value at 4,800 tonight. Luka, I'm not sure I'm getting to the 11-9, but it's certainly a great matchup. He's not projecting for a ton of ownership. So that's one way you could go, get a little bit different there if you wanted to spend. And then Emmanuel Quickly is a guy I like tonight against Orlando, maybe as a pivot off of White and or Pritchard, or just as a standalone play. He's been playing well lately as well.
Before we switch it over to Noto, I do want to remind people with a great point from Mr. Irrelevant in chat. Let's hit that like button. We got to get these likes way, way up here. I didn't bring it up at the start of the show. Dean clearly did an awful job throughout the first hour and 20 here, getting us to hit the like button. Chat, it's got to be Dean's fault, right? It can't be your fault. Prove that it's Dean's fault. Hit that like button and show us that you can do it. We believe in you. Help us out. And great question from J3 as well. Noto and Beer, have you ever been recognized in public from a RotoGrinders?
Yeah, it happens more often than you would think. I mean, we've been around a long time, TJ. So in fact, the last time I was in Vegas, walk up to a blackjack table and this guy was like, "Oh my God," he's like flipping the hell out. I'm like, "I'm just here to play blackjack, brother." But he was all excited, taking selfies. So it happens. I mean, we're no celebrities, but in our little world, we've been around long enough. It definitely happens.
Yeah, it's happened to me a few times, not as often as beer probably, but yeah, especially when there's like a DFS event, then you get recognized a lot. But it is kind of fun every once in a while when you're just out and about and somebody's like, "Hey, are you Noto?" And, yeah, and then it's just awkward after that.
Yeah, outside of like not including a live final, it has happened to me one time by association where my wife met somebody and then she mentioned where I worked and was like, "Oh, hey, I watched their stuff," and was able to like figure out who I was based on that. But never actually happened to me in person outside of at a live final. But Noto, how about you? Point guard on DraftKings, who do you like?
Yeah, so a lot of good options here. I think the clear play is going to be Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. Beer talked about those huge usage boosts with Jaylen Brown off the floor. Add in a nice matchup against Sacramento. Going to be eating the chalk there. They're both projected for over 50% ownership. If I'm choosing one, like if I want to fade one for tournaments, I'm probably going to fade Derek White because Pritchard, he gets that nice fantasy point per minute boost as well without Brown. But I think one lineup, I'm going to play both of them. Outside of that, I really like Keontae George. I've been playing him all year, been talking him up all year. If you look at his game log, it's just a lot of green in that game log. He hits 50 so often. Now you take Markkanen off the floor, take Nurkic off the floor. I think he's going to have really high usage rate against Brooklyn. And on another slate, he would probably be 30, 40%. But since Pritchard and White are going to be, soaking up so much of that ownership, we have Keontae at 13%, which I love on DraftKings. And then, yeah, for the cheaper guys, I don't mind Bub Carrington. We haven't checked it for 36 minutes, which is really nice. Don't mind looking at the Brooklyn guys, Demon. Or how do we pronounce his name? Yogurt? Or what was Dean saying?
Yeoman. Dean was saying yogurt the one day. Yeah. I think it's Yeoman.
Yeah, Yogurt. He's the guy that can make a lot of threes. And, the Jazz, they give up more threes than anybody in the league. So I don't mind looking at him in tournaments. And then Beer mentioned Anthony Simons. I think he's a really strong pivot away from some of the other guys, or you can play them all three together. I think there's enough shots to go around with Brown out.
All right, take us over to shooting guard.
Yeah. Did Beer go point guard already?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I like Cam Thomas a ton. I know he hasn't been playing a ton of minutes, but if you get 25 minutes against the Jazz, that's 30 minutes against most teams. Jazz are dead last in defensive rating, dead last against the three-point line, dead last in points allowed per game. And now, I don't have Michael Porter Jr. in the lineup. So love Cam Thomas tonight. One of my favorite plays on the board. You have Derek White here. Donovan Mitchell without Garland and Mobley. I don't mind it, but man, that matchup against Phoenix isn't great. It's going to be a pace down spot for him. Phoenix very good at defending the three-point line as well. I like Keyshawn George at home against the Lakers. He's been awesome. The usage rate's been above 30% 4 of his last 6 games. He's had at least 48 fantasy points in 3 of his last 6 games. So you get a high ceiling there at pretty low ownership. He's at 10% projected ownership right now. Then that's pretty much it for me. Like for cash games, I don't mind Herbert Jones, Cedric Coward, but I think I'm probably just going to stick to Cam Thomas and Derek White for single entry stuff.
All right, Beer, how about you, shooting guard, and then we'll take us into small forward.
I'm a little more optimistic on Donovan Mitchell. It is a tough matchup. 9,900 is not an easy price to pay, but I think a lot of people are going to go a different direction there. So I do like him as a spend. Mid-range options, love the Keyshawn George call for Washington. They're missing some offensive pieces, so he's going to have to continue to play well and step up. Desmond Bane, I like tonight against Toronto at 7K in that mid-range. Grayson Allen is going to have to do that much more without Devin Booker. So those are all guys kind of in the mid-range. And then cheap, Noda brought up Cam Thomas. It's hard to not like him without Michael Porter. I just worry about, are they finally going to give him some minutes? But we know when he's on the floor, he's going to chuck, and it's a good matchup. And this Utah team generally more competitive at home. So really hard to argue that price. Herb Jones, great value at 4,400. But the guy I really like tonight, Malik Monk at 4,900. Again, not an ideal matchup against Boston, but he's starting to play well again. Prices feel like they're lagging behind a little bit. So that's a piece you can, again, run it back with some of your Boston stuff or just play him flat out at 4,900. I think he's probably $1,000 underpriced at 4,900. So he's one of my favorite kind of off the radar value plays tonight.
I like that. Somebody I kind of overlooked, but I'm going to throw back into my pool right now. And a nice pivot off of Dennis Schroeder as well, who's going to be a little bit more popular. Noto, how about you, small forward?
Yeah, so we got, I don't know. I don't feel great about the position. I'm probably going to play some Herb Jones.
Or sorry, Beer, did you get to small forward yet?
No, but no,
that was my bad. I
Oh,
transitioned too
good.
early.
You're good.
Beer, you got small forward, then Noto.
All right. I agree in the point that it's an ugly position. I mean, this is probably the weak spot. So I think going cheap here makes sense. Saddiq Bey has been playing extremely well of late. I don't know how long this can last, but you can't dislike the matchup tonight with Memphis. So 6K is a great price on him. Justin Champagnie for Washington. Like Noto mentioned, Washington very intriguing on the slate tonight. No Middleton, no Trae Young. No Johnson. So 5K, good price on him. We mentioned Herb Jones at 4,400. I really like Dylan Brooks at 6,800. Without Booker the last 3 games, this dude has been chucking. I mean, 60 shots over the last couple games or more, 26 or more points in each of the last 3 games. So generally not a guy I play a ton, but it's really hard to argue that he has really stepped up without Devin Booker. So still under 7K on him. Vince Williams, a guy I always have in my pool. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Last couple games have been solid for him at 4,400. And I don't mind Ace Bailey, another guy. You know, the range of outcomes is, super low to super high. We've seen both, but with them missing, Markkanen and Nurkic in the lineup, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. So Ace Bailey price is getting up there, but 5,900. I still think there's some meat left in that bone.
Noto, how about you, small forward?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with Saddiq Bey. Every time I play him, he has one of those floor games, but man, 46, 47, 52 in 3 kind of tough matchups too. So I don't know, in a position where we don't have a lot of good options, I'm probably just going to take the bait and eat him or eat it and eat the chalk. As far as the other guys, Champagnie, I like that call against the Lakers at home. He's got some upside. Herb Jones, kind of a safe cash game play against Memphis. He's been playing a little bit better recently. Love the Dylan Brooks call. His usage rate goes up to like 35% or something without Booker on the floor. So he's probably my favorite mid-range option. And then Jalen Tyson, he's been awesome. Every time you get him big minutes when one of the big guys is out for Cleveland, tends to play well, put up 39 the last game in only 29 minutes. That game kind of turned into a blowout. So I think he's going to see more minutes tonight. It's not a good matchup against Phoenix, but I do think he's interesting. And then, I don't know, I'm just not a Grayson Allen guy, especially at 7K. So I'll probably play Brooks over to Grayson tonight.
All right, take us to power forward.
Yeah, we got Filipowski here at 5,800. No Nurkic, no Markkanen, no Kevin Love, no Kessler, no Niang. I mean, they're missing everyone in the front court. So against one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA in the Nets, I think Filipowski makes a lot of sense. Have him tagged as a core play right now. On the opposite side of that game, Danny Wolf's been playing a little bit more with Noah Clowney out. His game log's been hit or miss, but he does have 30-plus fantasy point upside. Great matchup against the Jazz. Zion Williamson, he's too cheap for sure. He's been playing a little bit better recently, 45 in 3 of his last 6 games. Only 21% ownership does surprise me for a guy that's typically more expensive and more highly owned. Then the guys before us, talking about Jaren Jackson, I think he might only be center eligible on DraftKings, so I'll talk about him in a minute. Other guys, Sam Hauser, if you're looking for a contrarian Boston play, I think he's interesting. Should see 35 minutes at home against Sacramento with increased usage without Jaylen Brown. LeBron's projecting well, but he just hasn't shown much upside this season. And Kyle Murray's guy, Kyle Anderson, Somo, you can take some shots on him. He's only 4K. Yep. I think it's a pretty good spot for him. Again, I love everybody in that Brooklyn Jazz game.
All right, Beer, how about you, power forward?
Yeah, I love the Filipowski call, and Kyle Anderson is definitely in some of my lineups. I mean, 4K for a guy that's going to have to play some minutes tonight. That's usually the concern with him, is where the minutes going to come from. But with them being down so many bodies, makes a ton of sense here. So you have Bay here. I would utilize him at small forward. I just think power forward's a better option. I don't know about you guys, but Danny Wolf chalk is a little nerve-wracking. So I get why he's drawing ownership and why he's projecting pretty well at 4,500. I just Danny Wolf at 40%, something I'm not afraid to miss out on it. And if Danny Wolf beats me, so be it. So that's my stance there. Sam Hauser, I think, is a solid play, like Noto said. Anybody outside of Pritchard and White on Boston pretty much going to be overlooked with everybody cramming everybody or those two guys in. So really like that. John Conchar for Memphis, I think is decent value tonight with them missing a few big bodies. And then if I'm spending, I'm probably looking at Paolo Banchero at 9,500 over a Scotty Barnes. So he would be a primary spend. But there is some great value here. If I have to pick one guy playing cash games, I probably feel best about Filipowski at 5,800.
How would you rank Cam Thomas, Schroeder, and Yeoman on FanDuel? We'll get to FanDuel shortly. Haven't reached there yet, but we'll have that pricing up ahead of us shortly. And of course, we will take some questions once we go position by position here. I'll go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first, go to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, all we ask is that you smash that like button. Center spot, who do you like, Beer?
Well, old Nikola Jokic surprised us today in making his return. That being said, I'm not going to play him. He may go out and smash. I just don't see them fully unleashing him. So I could be wrong here, but I'm gonna avoid that one for sure. So I'm gonna go to the mid range here. I am a glutton for punishment. I'm gonna go right back to Jock Landale after a subpar game. Charlotte much more impressive against bigs this season than they've been in years past. Now he gets a matchup against New Orleans, who are not. We're talking bottom 5 in points, rebounds, assists, and fantasy points allowed to the center position. So I like him. Jaren Jackson Jr., a guy normally despised, but hard to argue this matchup, this price on him at 7,500. So I think he's even in play in cash games. As much as I don't like him, it's just hard to deny that price in the matchup are that good. Alex Sarr, a guy that's always in my pool, not projecting for a ton of ownership. Lakers have been good against bigs, but again, they're going to need offense from somewhere. I think Mitchell Robinson, pretty solid value at 4,300. And Filipowski, again, if you want to put him here. And Danny Wolf, a guy I'm just going to avoid tonight at that level of ownership.
All right, Noto, how about you? DK center.
Yeah, I like Filipowski, like I talked about. Jaren Jackson, nice matchup against the Pelicans. No Edey, no Ja Morant. I think he was Tim's one of Tim's favorite plays too, which is always a good thing. Like Nick Claxton, he's typically popular even when Clowney is active, even when MPJ is active. So I'm surprised, he's not projected for much ownership tonight. I know it's a back-to-back, but Alex Sarr has been on a tear, and the minutes have finally gone up. Like, he was playing minutes in the 28 to 30 range. He's been 31, 36, 37, 36 in his last 4 games. So perhaps he gets to 33 to 35 minutes tonight. If he does, I think he has a ton of upside. I keep chasing Karl-Anthony Towns. It never works, but I like the matchup against Portland. And then you have Kyle Anderson there, have Danny Wolf there. Probably, I don't know. I'm kind of with Beer, like Wolf's game log. Like, he could easily put up 15 at 50% ownership, and then you're sitting real pretty in tournaments if he does that.
All right, let's make the switch over to FanDuel. As we're switching, I want to let you know about Pick Labs. It's the newest RotoGrinders feature that lets you scan the best player props and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything is broken down for you, from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which plays actually stand out across sportsbooks and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Pick Labs builds the slip and sends it straight to the book of your choice. You can find Pick Labs at rotogrinders.com/picklabs. You'll be wondering why this wasn't a thing already. FanDuel point guard, Noto, I will start with you. And that's where we can hit on that question that was highlighted earlier. Rank for us Cam Thomas, Dennis Schroeder, and Yeoman, all in similar price ranges over on FanDuel.
Yeah, if I'm ranking those 3 for tournaments, I'm going to go Cam Thomas, then Simons, then Yeoman. I think. But all three are definitely in play. And for those that were sweating some golf, Taylor Pendrith has bogeyed his final hole to miss the cut on the number. So that's going to hurt come Sunday afternoon. But yeah, let's talk about some point guards. Same as DraftKings. You got Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, best plays on the board. They are a little bit more expensive over here, but I still think they're both awesome plays. I think Schroeder is more viable on FanDuel. He's only 4,700. No Westbrook, no Sabonis. Tough matchup against Boston, but yeah, he played 31 minutes last night, put up 39 fantasy points. He's been pretty solid on a per minute basis this season, so he's cheap enough that I don't mind him. We talked about Simons and Cam Thomas. I like both of them. Keontae George, again, just been awesome all season. Going to have super high usage rate in this one. We've seen it get up to 39% at times this season, so I think he could have a big game, and that will do it for my point guards.
Beer, what are your thoughts on that ranking of the 4,700 tier? Because we also have Anthony Simons in that spot as well, 4,700. Yeoman, Thomas, Schroeder, Simons, all the exact same price. Which ones are the priority for you?
I would say Thomas 1. I'm going to go Schroeder 2, Yeoman 3, and Simons 4. So that is my list.
All right. And then who else do you like at point guard? Then feel free to lead us right into shooting guard.
Yeah, again, White, Pritchard stand out here. Schroeder's even cheaper over here at 4,700. So he's going to stand out to people. Carrington, cheaper. You just don't get guys on FanDuel cheaper very often. So these guys are all underpriced. They're all going to come with ownership. So I love the pivot to Keontae George. I think he's going to be under 20% on the slate tonight. If you want to pay up for Luka, as we mentioned on DraftKings, he's not going to project for a ton of ownership. None of these higher end point guards are going to draw a ton of ownership. So Luka, Cade, even Steph Curry at 9,300, not a easy matchup with Detroit, but he's projecting very well and right around 10% ownership. So Cam Thomas, good value at 4,700. That was a part of that question earlier. And again, Malik Monk, shooting guard, point guard eligible here, just 5K and going to be a handful of percent owned. So that'll transition us to shooting guard. Can utilize him in either spot. Here we get Trey Murphy. I really like him to bounce back tonight. 8,100, great matchup here with Memphis, who is not a good defense. So people may be scared. You know, he's had a few down games. I think he bounces back in a big way. Other side of that one, I like Cedric Howard at 5,700. Trying to find some names that we haven't talked about yet. Jalen Tyson is more appealing over here. 6,300 is a much better price than you're getting on DraftKings. I love Jalen Tyson, but that price is really getting out of hand over on DK. And then Dylan Brooks going to draw more ownership over here. DraftKings, I think he's going to be super low, but should be sub 20%, I would think. He's one of my favorite tournament options tonight. I don't know that he can continue this hot streak. It's kind of out of nowhere. You know, he's one of them guys that pops off for games here and there. 3 games in a row without Booker, he's done well. But I really like spot in these prices for him again tonight.
All right, Noto, how about you? Who do you like as shooting guard? Then take us to small forward.
Yeah, shooting guard. Dean was asking about Xander Schauffele. He's also one out of the cut right now, but he's playing a par 5 on his last hole. So I'll keep you updated, Dean. And then, yeah, shooting guard. Beard pretty much covered the position perfectly. I like Simons. I like Schroeder if you're saving. I like White and Pritchard if you're spending. Cam Thomas as well. And then Keontae is a nice pivot away from the more expensive shooting guard options. Jalen Tyson, who we were mentioning, he's a little bit cheaper over here than he is on DraftKings, which I like. That game environment's not the best, but he's interesting. And then again, we have Dylan Brooks here. Usage rate was 36% last game. He's going to be confident after, a huge outing against Detroit. So I don't mind going back to him, even though it feels like we're chasing a little bit. That'll do it for me. I'm probably not playing any Coward. Keyshawn George is kind of interesting too. Then over at small forward, a lot of the same names we've been talking about. Trey Murphy's a little bit more playable over on FanDuel. Danny Wolf, again, 4,800 for a guy. He can get you 35, but he could also get you 15. So be careful with him. He's not like, I don't know. He's one of those guys that he's more of a tournament play, but you kind of want to play him as a block for cash games tonight, which sounds weird, and then fade him in tournaments. but he's definitely got a wide range of outcomes. I like Kyle Anderson at 3,900. Love that Keyshawn George is small forward eligible over here, 7,700. One of my favorite plays at the position. Then if you're saving, you can go Herb Jones, Champagny. We have Will Riley projected for 25 minutes tonight. I think he could be interesting at 3.7K. And that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, Danny Wolf, one of those guys tonight that although he's super volatile, he has a ceiling in him that if he hits it, you'll need in cash games. And if he hits his floor, it's not really going to matter because he'll be 95% owned in cash games. So even though he's crazy volatile, crazy as it feels, you got to smash him in that scenario. I agree with you. Beer, how about you? Small forward and then take us to power forward.
Yeah, I agree on that point on Danny Wolf. I worry about the tournament ownership at cash games. I think he makes perfect sense to save some money, whether you want to, get up all the way to Luka or you want to get to Mitchell or jam these Boston guys in. So the tournament ownership is what worries me. I think this is a good mid-range to cheap spot. I mean, you can go to LeBron. I would much rather save that money and go with a Troy Murphy or a Keyshawn George at 7,700. So he's probably my favorite spend. Again, Jalen Tyson at 63, Dylan Brooks at 64 are in play here. I really like Justin Champagny. I mentioned him in DraftKings, 5,200 in the starting lineup. I think he has a night's game tonight against the Lakers. And Sam Hauser at 5K, we mentioned earlier. Anybody that's not named White or Pritchard is going to be pretty low owned tonight. I think Hauser in a good spot here. Power forward, Murray Boyles really stands out as too cheap, 4,900. Power forward center eligible. I think he is probably the best value at the position outside of some of the chalky guys. Filipowski again, 5,400 is a solid way to save some money. I like Derek Queen. I'm always going to like Derek Queen, and you get the good and the bad here, but should be low owned tonight. Price is pretty fair over here at 6,100. So I do like that. Paulo again at 93 is probably my favorite spend. I'll let Noto talk on Danny Wolf if he wants at 4,800. But again, I get the price on him. And that's about it for my pool here at power forward.
All right, Noto, power forward, and take us to center.
Yeah, Filipowski's my favorite. Have him tagged. Mentioned the reasons why. Nurkic out, Markkanen out, Love's out. We haven't projected for 28 minutes, but I think there's some meat on the bone there. I think he could play 30, 32 minutes in this one. And I like Jaren Jackson quite a bit. The upside certainly there. The usage rate should be there. It's been above 29% 2 of the last 3 games. And pretty good matchup against New Orleans as well. I like Murray Boyles a little bit. He's only 4,900. Look at his game log. He's been solid. 33, 23, 23, 30, 33, 52. Like, this guy's been getting more minutes. He's been more consistent. So I don't mind a little bit of a tough matchup given the price discount that we get on him at 4.9.
Yeah, he's over 6K on DraftKings.
Yeah, so I think he makes some sense over there on FanDuel. And then Jared Allen, he hasn't had a big game in a while, but if you look at the splits with Garland and Mobley out, like his usage rate spikes, his per minute numbers spike. He didn't get there the other night because it was a blowout, but he was pretty good on a per minute basis. And if you look at the minutes, they're slowly creeping up in games that have been competitive. He's played 33 or more in 3 of the last 5 games. So if we get 33 minutes from Jared Allen without Mobley and Garland, I think he could be one of those guys that really makes a difference tonight in tournaments.
I like that. Another guy overlooked, and I'm going to throw back into my pool right now. Beer, how about you? Center spot, and then we'll start getting some QQs.
I mentioned Murray Boyles. I think he's good value at 49. Mitchell Robinson at 45. I'm a Precious Achiuwa fan. I know that's probably not a popular sentiment, but he should see some more time. He's only 4K. Filipowski, if you want to get up a little higher at 58 in the mid-range, makes sense. Claxton at 61 is the guy I really like tonight as my dog goes crazy here. Jalen Duren, 73 is a little bit too cheap against an undersized Golden State team. So I like that. And then Jaren Jackson is probably your cash game option, whether you want to utilize him at power forward or center. 7,700 is a great price there. So power forward center, pretty loaded up with options at all different price points.
All right. Before we take questions, I do want to ask both of you, who is your slate break and play of the night? Your feel it in the apples play, as Dean called in on Grinders Live before. Beer, I'll keep it with you first. Who do you got?
I'm going to say Dylan Brooks. I really like the way he's been playing. I love the usage bump without Devin Booker, and I really like this ownership. If this holds, I think he's a phenomenal tournament play. So Dylan Brooks for me.
All right, Noto, how about you? Who's breaking the slate?
Yeah, the old Granny Smith, fill it in the Granny Smith play of the night. Yeah, I'm going to go Keontae George at home against Brooklyn.
I like it. You're a guy. All right. I'll start going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first for some QQs, going to the YouTube chat second. We got a few in Discord, then I see a lot of them really loading up in YouTube right now. DK Cat. Oh, first question actually from Jim Paris. Missed this one. Sorry, Jim. Got you now, though. Can you use Curry as a late night hammer for the last game tonight, Beer?
I think so. I think people will shy away from, and it is a tough matchup, but if that's going to keep his ownership down, we know the ceiling is there. So I think he's playable on any of the slates, especially if you're playing any of the late night only stuff.
All right, Noto, we got a DK Cash question for you. Carrington and Triple J or Cam Thomas and your guy Keontae George?
Ooh, easy one for me. Give me the 2 from the Jazz Brooklyn game.
Right, next one coming in here. Yahoo, large field GPP Beer. You want Ace Bailey and Cade Cunningham or Keyshawn George and Derek White?
George and White.
Yeah, I like that side quite a bit better as well. Sorry, as I kind of stall slightly just to get my lineups in. There we go. Ace Bailey or Sadiq Bey at DraftKings single entry, Noto?
Sadiq Bey.
Right, GK GPP Beer. You want Gigi Jackson or Kyle Anderson?
Kyle Anderson.
Beer, I'll keep it with you here because you like Curry. Do you have any other interest in any Pistons or Warriors guys in the late night hammer?
Duran is probably my favorite. Cade, I think, will be low owned, so that's intriguing. But yeah, I'll say Curry and Duran. I don't mind Pajemski. I think he's going to continue to play a pretty big role here, and he's still pretty cheap.
Noto, you want another Keontae question for you. Maybe I should give this one a Beer, but White and Jock Landale or Simons and Keontae?
Yeah, Simons and Keontae. But yeah, maybe Beer should answer that one too.
Beer, which side do you like better?
I would have went the other way, but it's close. I like Simons. I also worry a little bit about his upside, but I do like Keontae quite a bit.
Noto, what are your thoughts on Zion Williamson tonight?
Feel like he's underpriced, especially on DraftKings. Probably not going to make my main lineup, but if he does make yours, I'd like it. I don't mind it.
423 watching, only 106 likes. Come on, smash that like button for us, everybody. Shout out to Dave Schneider for reminding people. Dave, if you are the Davis Schneider who plays for the Blue Jays, let me know. Let's hang out sometime. Champagne and White or Pritchard and Bay, FanDuel GPP Beer?
Oh, that's a good one. I'll go the second set, but all 4 guys I like.
All right, swapping back to the YouTube chat here. We've covered everything from Discord so far. FanDuel Cash Beer, Derek White or Keontae George?
White.
I think George is a great tournament play. Probably think it's White for cash too, though. We couldn't give that to Noto just in case. Noto, how do you feel about Champagne tonight?
Yeah, I like him. He doesn't have the same minute floor as some of the other Washington guys, but I do like him.
DK single entry Beer. You want Allen and Zion or Murphy and Brooks?
Murphy and Brooks.
I like that side as well. Noto for DK GPP. You want Duran and Cam Thomas or Sar and Cardwell?
Number 1, but I don't feel great about Duran, but number 1.
Beer, you want Triple J or Zion Williamson tonight?
Give me a little Triple J.
All right. FanDuel GPP, Noto, Keyshawn George and Murphy. Oh, Bub, sorry, it's a 3v3. Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, Trey Murphy, or slow-mo Herb Jones and Luka?
Ooh, we didn't really talk about Luka much. I'm going to go the first one, but Reeves being out does help Luka a little bit.
Beer, what do you think about Hugo Gonzalez as a Boston value piece today?
I'm intrigued with all these Boston pieces. So he's a little riskier, than the Hausers of the world, but I think some of these guys are going to be low owned. So you love that in tournament. So I don't mind it.
DKGPP for Beer to follow up on my White Jock versus Keontae Simons. If I flip Keontae to point guard, I can play Jock at utility. Is that the nuts? So it wouldn't have to be Keontae and Simons. It could be Keontae and Jock.
I like Jock a lot. I mean, they're down Edey, they're down Clark, they're down Aldama. I mean, they're just running out of big bodies. The worry is they can throw Triple J at the 5, go smaller. But I do like Jock to bounce back. So I feel better about Jock than Simons. I know there's a price difference there, but I do like the spot. It's just such a good spot against this team.
QQ, DK, Noto, you want Ace Bailey or Sadiq Bey?
Yeah, Sadiq Bey.
All right. Let's see here. We've talked about Champagny. We've talked about Murray Boyles. Last man in for a DKGPP, Towns, Brunson, or George. Already have Filipowski and Bailey in my lineup. We all like Keontae George, but Beer, would you guys still, or Noto too, honestly, both of you guys, would you guys still go to him if that lineup already has Bailey and Filipowski?
I would probably go with one of the Knicks there, but let's see what our resident Utah fan thinks.
Yeah, I think so too. Or you can get rid of Ace and then play Keontae.
Large field DKGPP, use Malachi Branham and use Hauser and Bey, or remove Hauser and Bey and rebuild playing Luka. I don't think I'm playing 150 lineups. I didn't consider getting to any Malachi Branham today, but are you guys okay with the Malachi Branham as a last piece in a Luka lineup?
I don't know. You're just sacrificing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not 3,500. Like you could get up to, Kyle Anderson is 4K if you can make that happen. I don't trust Branham to play enough minutes.
Yeah, I think you probably want to remove Hauser or Bey and figure out a way to get two cheaper guys and one of them not being Branham. Let's see. Last man in Noto, 4,900 or less on DK.
Pull it up.
Let me plug my Noto can still answer here, but let me plug my boy Malik Monk here at 4,900.
Ooh, I like it.
Did he make the 6-pack?
He did not.
I'm gonna go Cam Thomas if you don't have him, but I do like the Monk play.
Beer, if you're fading one, White or Pritchard in tournaments, which would you pick to get rid of?
Oof. I trust the all-around game of White a little bit more, so I'll say Pritchard. But that being said, he chucks when Brown is out, so I'll say Pritchard. But that one's tough.
Noto, we got Denny Avdia just ruled in 4 minutes ago. Who would you rather, Scotty Barnes or Avdia straight up for DraftKings?
Neither one for me, but I'm going to go Avdia.
Beer, who do you like? FanDuel guard, either of the positions, 77 or under. Who are you going with?
FanDuel guard, 7,700. Let's see here. I mean, Pritchard 7K, so that one's easy. Pritchard is one. Everyone else is above that I like. Noto, you got anybody here?
What was the question?
7,700 or under guard. We like Pritchard, but assuming he already has them, you got somebody else?
Oh, okay, Sean George, 77.
Perfect.
I thought you said 7K.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, 77 or under. Couple lightning. We have hit lock, but a couple lightning round questions here for some of these games after lock. Sorry, we just missed Laravia or Wolf on FanDuel single entry. That one just locked. But Carrington, White, Claxton, or Pritchard, White, It's whites in both of them. So Carrington and Claxton or Pritchard and Wolf, Noto.
I mean, I gotta have Pritchard tonight, but yeah, Wolf could make or break you, but I gotta have the second one.
TJ, are those eyebrows natural? Yes, they are. I've never done anything to my eyebrows, J3, but I'm glad you like them. Pritchard or Claxton for DK? Got to be Pritchard. Claxton and Champagne or Bay and Bowles beer?
Boyles, I'm guessing.
Murray Boyles? Yeah, probably Murray Boyles.
I'll go with that second set.
All right. FanDuel, if only playing one, would you prefer White or Pritchard, Noto? I know we just got that one for beer. Noto, who you got?
I'm going to go Pritchard.
Is this already locked, but is Luka and Sar a viable starting point for DK GPPs? Yes, it is. And I think that is it. All right. Great job, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out if you have not done so already. Oh, we do have one more in the Discord that we'll hit before we get out of here. Noto, you want Thomas or Schroeder for a FanDuel GPP?
Thomas.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. On behalf of myself, Noto, Beer, Steve, doing a wonderful job behind the scenes. We will see you next time. Peace.